Mesopotamian civilization. We have studied Egyptian civilization in detail. It is certain that people of every civilization learned many things from Egyptian. At the same time, they also made new discoveries to enrich their civilization. Now let us study the contribution of Mesopotamians to the world. Mesopotamia is a Greek word which means the land between two rivers, and the two rivers, Euphrates and Tigris, form the fertile plains. Early tillers settled in villages. With the growth of population, these villages developed into towns and later into cities. These plains were cradles of many civilizations which developed and vanished around 3500 to 500 BCE. Hence, Mesopotamia is also called the cradle and graveyard of civilization. Mesopotamia includes the area of present eastern Syria, southern Turkey, and most of Iraq. It is also known as the land of Shinar. It was a center of culture whose influence extended up to Egypt and India. It is very difficult to predict exactly the time of the beginning of this civilization. According to historians, the transition must have taken place between 4th and 3rd millennium BCE. Mesopotamia, unlike Egypt, was often subject to invasion by foreigners. It resulted in the rise and fall of many empires. 5 important races shaped the culture and civilization of Mesopotamia. They are Sumerians, Akkadians, Amorites or Old Babylonians, Assyrians, Chaldeans or the New Babylonians. So let's know about the Sumerians. Sumerians were the pioneers of Mesopotamian civilization. They had first settled in area called Sumer. So they are called Sumerians. Number 2, Akkadians. Akkadians settled in northwest of Shinar, also known as Akkad. So this Shinar, just now we heard that Mesopotamian includes the area of present eastern Syria, southern Turkey and most of Iraq. So these places also known as the land of Shinar. So these Akkadians, they were settled in northwest of Shinar, also known as Akkad. So they were called Akkadians. They were nomadic tribes. They conquered Sumer. Sumer is Sumerians' place. So they conquered Sumer and continued many aspects of Sumerian culture. King Sargon I was the most successful king. He strengthened the empire. Akkad was the capital of Akkadians. So you need to remember the name. Who is the king of Akkadian? King Sargon I was the most successful king. And he strengthened what? He strengthened his empire, and Agade was the capital of Akkadian. Number 3, Amorites or the Old Babylonians. So they established their empire by destroying Akkadians. Akkadians is the kingdom of King Sargon I. So these Amorites or Old Babylonians, they established their empire by destroying Akkadians. There was a period of chaos or disorder for 250 years. Babylon was their capital. Emperor Hammurabi was the greatest king and lawmaker of this race. Which race? Amorites or Old Babylonians race. So after the death of Hammurabi, there was a cultural stagnation or lack of development in culture. Number 4, Assyrians. Assyrians revived the glory of Mesopotamia during the days of Emperor Tiglath-Pileser. They built huge empire. Sargon II, in the sense that the king Sargon II, Sennacherib and Assurbanipal were the great kings of the race. So you need to remember the name of Assyrian, the Sargon II. The king Sargon II, King Sennacherib and King Assurbanipal were the great kings of the race, in the sense which race? Assyrians race. And their capital was Nineveh. Number 5, Chaldeans or New Babylonians. So here it tells that after the death of Assurbanipal, Assurbanipal was the king of Assyrians. So there were 3 great kings, Sargon II, Sennacherib and Assurbanipal. So here, after the decline of Assurbanipal kingdom, Chaldeans came to power. They destroyed the city of Nineveh. and rebuilt the city of Babylonia. Actually, this Nineveh is a capital of Assyrians. So he tells that they destroyed the city of Nineveh and rebuilt the city of Babylon as their capital. So they are called New Babylonians. Here comes the name Chaldeans or New Babylonians. Nebuchadnezzar was the greatest king who built huge brick fort around Babylon and a hanging garden. Persian Emperor Cyrus conquered Babylonia in 538 BCE, thus the empire came into an end. Salient features of Mesopotamian civilization. First one, political life. Early Mesopotamians established the city-states first, which developed into kingdoms and later into an empire. King was both the head of administration and religion. Kings were regarded as representatives of God on earth. He was head of the state and owner of the property of the state. He ruled the state in the name of God. Many a time the king's authority fell in the hands of military officers. Only the powerful kings exercised immense power. Priests had greater voice in the administration. Governors were appointed to look after the provincial administration. They had horse-borne postal system for communication. Hammurabi was a Babylonian king who conquered Sumer and ruled between 2123 to 2081 BCE. He was one of the greatest rulers of Mesopotamian civilization. He was a great conqueror and an able administrator. He conquered whole of Mesopotamia. He was an enlightened despot or the dictator who has great knowledge. So, this Hammurabi was an enlightened despot. He united Sumer and Akkad. These were the places in ancient Mesopotamia. So, he united Sumer and Akkad and divided the provinces into districts. He personally supervised the administration. He built palaces, temples, and fortified Babylon. Central and provincial administration was carried out smoothly according to the orders of the emperors. God of Hammurabi. So you can expect this question for 5 marks. So here it tells that Hammurabi has become immortal, or it tells that living forever in the history of mankind by his code of law. He collected all existing laws, classified them, improved them, and added new ones and codified them into one body of laws. The code includes 282 laws. The laws were relating to all aspects of life such as personal property, trade and commerce, accidents, labor, marriage, divorce, slaves, rights of men and women, etc. The code is beautifully engraved on the black stone. It is the oldest written code of law known to history. On the top of it, the image of King Hammurabi is shown receiving the laws from god Shamash, that is the sun god. The code is mixture of enlightened laws and barbarous punishment. Many of the laws are based on the principle of tit for tat, an eye for an eye or a tooth for a tooth. It was universally applicable throughout his kingdom. It was based on principle of complete responsibility of the state to give justice. Individuals could not avenge or punish, but the state could punish or avenge the way it liked. The code aimed at deterring or discourage the people from committing crimes. There are provisions regarding almost all professions in the society. The code is aimed at providing equality. Women were given the right to own the property and inherit ancestral property. Fulfill required conditions. Punishments were harsh for the people who were well placed and prosperous. Efforts were made to avoid discrimination between rich and poor. The business documents were to be witnessed by somebody. If a doctor failed in his duty, he had to pay compensation to the patient. Code of Hammurabi influenced other kings elsewhere in the world to pass similar laws. The significance of the code lies in the fact that it covered all aspects of human life. It was an everlasting and monumental legal achievement of Hammurabi which was made him immortal or living forever. Social condition. The Mesopotamian society was divided into 4 groups. 1. The royals. 2. The priests. 3. Rich landlords and merchants. 4. Slaves. Priests and scribes. Scribes, I told you that someone who is employed to make a written document. So here tells that priests and scribes held high posts in the administration. They enjoyed high status in the society. Nobles enjoyed powers by heredity. They commanded great prestige and power in administration as well as army. The farmers, artists, craftsmen, shopkeepers, merchants formed the third strata, followed by the slaves at lowest level. They could be bought and sold. Women enjoyed considerable freedom with the right to property. They had social, religious, and economic freedom. Next, religious condition. Mesopotamians worshipped nature. They also worshipped innumerable gods and goddesses. They insisted every man to submit unconditionally to God and hoped that everything in the end would be good. Every village and city had a local deity. They built ziggurats, that is, the temple with tall towers. Their temples were also the center of education. Gods and goddesses like Marduk, Ishtar, Shamash, Uruk, Ur, and Nannar were worshipped. Marduk was supreme god, Ishtar, mother of all gods, Shamash, the sun god, Nannar, the moon god, Bel, earth god, and also the goddess of death. Asur, the god of war. They practiced animal sacrifices and also believed in magic and demons. Economic condition. Agriculture was their main occupation, followed by cattle rearing and dairy farming. They reared buffaloes, goats, horses, donkeys, sheep, etc. They developed bunding to lands. That means the entire field is divided into small compartments with predetermined size to retain the rainwater and where it falls and arrests soil erosion. So here it tells that they developed bunding to lands and artificial irrigation. They use the water wisely by digging canals from both the rivers, in the sense Euphrates and Tigris. Mesopotamians also built dikes, embankments, and storage basins to use the water throughout the year. It is believed that the shadow was developed by them for artificial irrigation. Wheat, barley, fruits, and dates were grown in abundance and even exported. In the early period they had barter system, but in later period they used metal coins. Weaving, dyeing, woodwork, pottery, brick making, jewelry, mining, and metallurgy were important crafts. Copper, iron, silver, gold, and bronze were the metal known to them. They exported wooden and fiber clothes, hides, dates, etc. They imported various metals. They had trade relations with India and Egypt. Horse and asses were used as means of transport. Art and architecture. As stone was not available in Mesopotamia, we do not find sculpture and architecture as we find in Egypt. Most of the buildings were built with bricks and mud. Very few of them have survived. Babylonian king Nebuchadnezzar constructed a palace which is known as Hanging Garden of Babylonia. This is one of the important questions. It was considered as one of the 8 wonders of ancient world. It was a huge palace with variety of gardens on roof of it. Mesopotamians were excellent artisans and sculptors. They carved beautiful pictures of eagles and other animals. Student copybooks and library of clay books of 4,000-year-old are found. They used flat bricks for writing, which is known as cuneiform writing. They composed many myths, legends, and poems. Their Epic of Gilgamesh is rich poetry. Science and mathematics. They knew about planets like Mercury, Jupiter, Venus, Mars, and Saturn. They believed that sun and moon influence the life of man. They had faith in astrology, which was based on astronomy. They divided the year into 12 months and 354 days. They followed lunar calendar. Their hour had 60 minutes and a minute had 60 seconds. They knew that a circle had 360 degrees. They did good progress in the field of medicine. Their book, Materia Medica, mentions of 550 medicines prepared of vegetables, minerals, and animal products. The book also gives detail of various diseases and their symptoms. Causes of decline of civilization. Number 1. Weak and inefficient rulers often lost control over administration. This led to anarchy. Number 2. Struggle for succession among nobles disturbed the peace and order in the society. Number 3. Invasion by Persians led to the end of the civilization. Thus, Mesopotamia became the part of Persian Empire by 538 BCE, and this is all about Mesopotamian civilization.